Welcome back, everybody. So I got that footage on my way back from my last camping trip. Nobody was harmed, no property was damaged. I think the guy got really lucky and everything was cool. So in this video, I'm gonna do a practical review of the Viofo A329. It's their new top-of-the-line dash cam. It's actually the first dash cam on the market with 60 frames per second. We'll get into that without getting too nerdy about it. But in this video, I kind of just want to tell you why it's important to have a dash cam, why you want this particular one. We're going to go over some test footage. We're going to look at the app. We're going to look at the basic operation and basic ways to set it up. So why would you want a dash cam? There are a multitude of reasons why this is a really smart investment. The first one is if you happen to get in an accident or see somebody else get in an accident, you've got an objective third-person viewer. You've got your speed on the screen, your coordinates, date, time, all the information you need to have an objective view. There is no longer any he said, she said, or my word against the other person. You've got the facts right there. So that is really important. There's also, if somebody hits your vehicle while you are parked, it's got vibration detection. It's also got the ability to do 24/7 recording as a security setup, but we'll get into that in a second. But you can set it up for vibration detection. So if someone hits your car, you've got a camera on the front and the back, and that should be able to give you a clear view because this thing has amazing video footage of the person's face and their license plate. As I just mentioned, it has the capability to do 24/7 recording. You wouldn't want to hook that up to your starter battery, but if you're living the van life, you've probably got a battery set up in your vehicle and you can just run it off of that and have 24/7 footage, which is really comfortable if you're parked at a trailhead and going on a long hike, or if you're out boondocking and you go away from your vehicle for a long time. Another really cool thing is if you're out on a road trip and something cool happens, maybe a mountain lion jumps out in front of you on the road, or a Sasquatch, or who knows, or you catch an accident from somebody else, like my intro footage, you've got really cool footage that you can share with people. Even if you don't have a YouTube channel, you know, you can share it with your friends and family on YouTube or whatever, and you've just got a camera right there that's already recording, and it makes it really easy. One of the really cool accessories for this thing is a Bluetooth, basically a remote button that has 3 different buttons on it that you can set to do different things. But say something happens, you just press that button and it locks that footage so that it will not record over it, and you can go and, you know, move it onto your laptop and you've got that that whole clip. So all those different abilities, to me, make it well worth the price of admission. Viofo, full disclosure, did send this out to me for free for my review, but after having it, I would totally pay the price for this. And one of the reasons why it's important to get a good dash cam is there's only a couple companies that make the sensors, and most of the cheap dash cams, especially the cheap ones on Amazon that you buy that are like half the price of this one, they use old, outdated sensors, and it's a lot like, you know, when you see on the news that security footage of the guy who robbed 7-Eleven or whatever, and you can't even tell what the guy looks like because it's so pixelated. And these cheap dash cams, there's no way you're going to read a license plate on that thing. I mean, maybe you'll get lucky, but you're relying on getting lucky. And it's like, if you just pay a little bit more, you can get something with excellent footage during the day and at night, and your chances of being able to read that license plate are much, much higher. Another set of accessories that is really, really helpful is these come with circular polarizing filters, which help block out glare. So the glare from your headlights onto a license plate, if you didn't have those things, it would be much harder to read. So those are super, super nice accessories. Viofo sent me out most of the accessories that are available for this thing, so we're going to go over all of that. So I've talked a little bit about some of the abilities of this camera. You can record 24/7. It's got HDR, which is high dynamic range, which in low light situations and situations where there's really bright lights and really dark darknesses, that really helps to be able to see everything, and it works really well. The footage looks excellent. It's also got the 60 frames per second, which means, and normally these dash cams shoot in like 30 or 24, but usually 30. So you get double the frames per second, which means it's taking 60 pictures in a second, so that reduces motion blur greatly and really helps create a nice crisp image. The downside of that is at night, you don't have the ability yet, maybe it'll come in the future in a software update, which this thing does have software updates, which is really cool. Another one of the really cool features is it's got the back camera. This is a 2-channel, so it's got a front camera and a back camera. I chose to set up the back camera inside so that if there is a smash and grab, people can see it, and the video can still see out the back when my windows aren't blocked. But my back window was usually blocked, so it didn't make sense to hook it up in the back. So that's your choice to make as well. It's adaptable. I think I already mentioned that you can hook this up to an external hard drive. I forget the size, I'll put it on the screen, but that's a huge external hard drive. So you could record in the top quality and probably get a couple weeks worth of footage. So if you're out boondocking and you realize, oh my God, what happened to my chairs? My chairs are gone. You can go back through your footage and figure out what happened to that chair. A couple of other features of this is the app. It's got a great app where you can set all the settings. You don't have to sit up there and awkwardly press buttons and try to do that stuff. You can if you want to, but the app is great. It is a Wi-Fi app, so it's not as quick to set up. You've basically got to hit a setting on the camera and then accept the network on your phone. Not quite as fast as Bluetooth. I'm not sure why they went with the Bluetooth or with the Wi-Fi app instead of Bluetooth, but I'm sure there's a good reason for it. Okay, let's take a look at what's inside the box real quick before I give some general installation tips for pretty much any vehicle. These are the accessories here that were sent with it. They are sold separately. That's the SSD cable for the external hard drive. First things first, let's disconnect our negative battery terminal and get it totally out of the way. And then we're going to power on the unit. Make sure you install the backup camera as well and check that. And then we're going to start mocking up exactly where we're going to mount it. Now, my vehicle has these little black dots on the windshield there, so I wasn't able to use the screen protector things that they send with it. Those are so that it's really easy to remove the unit without leaving a bunch of residue. I don't have a problem removing it. I've got chemicals that can take it right off, and they won't work on those black dots anyway. So I'm not going to do that in this install. So I ended up installing my backup camera up inside because I usually have my back windows blocked. And it'll kind of work as a security camera inside, and the very rare occasion that my back window is not blocked, I'll still be able to see out of it. So that's going to work fine for me. With the tips that I give you in these other parts, you should be able to run the wire all the way to the back and install it yourself, no problem. You might need a special tool for your license or your seat belts. So I got my side handle off, and then this other trim piece just pops right off. And take note, we've got the airbag in here, and on top there's a channel to run wires through from the factory. So that's where we're going to run them. I'm just going to tuck the part up under the headliner and then run this cable down through the factory area. And I actually used some zip ties and zip tied this wire to the factory wire. And here I am just running the wire through the underside so that it can come out into the glove box. My glove box locks, so I don't mind storing my hard drive in here. But if yours doesn't, you may consider hiding your hard drive somewhere else just in case there's a smash and grab or something. These things can get kind of spendy. So on the other side here, I'm going to run the power cable. There's this little plastic tab that I've got to remove to get access to the bolt. And I'm going to use the tool that came with this thing, which is actually a really phenomenal tool. I've got a set of really expensive trim tools, and this is way nicer. I love this little tool they gave us. So just on the other side of this bolt here, we're going to see a problem that was caused by whoever installed the alarm on my my truck before I got it. Look at how this wire is over the airbag. That is not safe, dude. That is not good. So we're going to take care of that today. I already rewired the whole alarm system except for this part. I forgot about it. So it's a good thing I'm doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and tuck this back into where the factory wiring is for whatever that wiring goes to, which is the perfect place. And here we have the controller for the hardwire kit. You can select the voltage you want the dash cam to shut off on, which is really nice. So this I could use for my starter battery or my house battery. We're connecting it to the starter battery though. So under here is the perfect place to run wires if you're going to be running the wires to the back. Almost every vehicle has it in the same spot. So here I am putting in the wire and using their awesome little trim tool, and I run into a little bit of a snag. There's this like ball on the end of the wire, and I had to pull my headliner back pretty far to shove it in. My headliner's already pretty beat up, so I'm not worried about it, but you may want to drop your headliner if you've got a really nice vehicle. So here I am just running the wires down and attaching zip ties so that they're nice and you know, everything's orderly and tight and just done well. And on the underside here, we're taking a look at my fuse panel, and I am looking for two different areas, one wire that is always on and one that is not. But first, let's take a look at how I'm going to connect these. I got these fuse taps. I had to buy these separately, and these go straight into a fuse, and it lets you add a fuse. They're also called add a fuses. And I've got my multimeter here and some wire strippers, and we're going to get started on getting this thing wired up. So I just strip the wire and then twist it and stick on my connector and crimp it down. It's pretty simple. Lots of videos online that can get into detail about that if you want to know more. Let's go ahead and get this thing crimped up and move on. Okay, here I've identified a perfect ground spot for my multimeter. It's totally bare metal connected to the body. It's all good. So from here, I'm going to use my multimeter to find an empty fuse spot that is always hot. And then I'm going to find another one that is only powered when the key is in the on position. And here you can see I found the perfect spots, and I'm just testing my e-brake to make sure no wiring's in the way. I've got everything zip tied down, and I've even got easy access to that little switch on the hardwire kit. So here's my favorite accessory. This is the Bluetooth button, and I love how it can slide out so you can replace the battery without having to break the adhesion of the double sticky tape on it. That is such a nice touch. So I've got the thing fully installed. I've got everything ready. Now I'm getting ready to just install the button before I can get it connected. And yeah, I basically just used an alcohol prep pad and cleaned the area really well, let it dry, and then stick the thing on. And I put it in a nice, easy to access spot that wasn't kind of in my face and kind of blended in with the interior, but would be really easy to press in case something crazy happens. So to connect the Bluetooth button to the dash cam, you have to have Bluetooth turned on, and I had to have the vehicle running to connect it. It wouldn't do it in just the on position. But that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks to Viofo for sending this out. I love this dash cam. It is awesome. It's totally worth the money. Check the description and the first comment for the links. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.